The twin moons of Virelion hung low over the crystalline capital, casting shimmering silver threads across the spire of the imperial palace. From the outer balconies, the whole city looked like a frozen ocean, waves of glass, light, and ancient alien architecture. James Hale had never intended to stare. Humans were guests here, and guests were expected to act with diplomatic precision. But tonight, standing on the visiting engineer's platform, he couldn't help himself. Because she walked past. The Vulpine Empress, Rose Velara. A living legend wrapped in a cascade of silver-red fur, imperial robes flowing with holographic embroidery, 9 elegant tails drifting like living nebulae behind her. Every movement was poetry, every footstep a soft chime upon the palace crystal. James swallowed and turned away. Too late. She had already seen him. Her golden eyes narrowed with interest. Not anger, not yet, but curiosity, the dangerous kind. The kind that made humans nervous and Vulpine advisors whisper. James tried to pretend he was simply inspecting the power conduits along the balcony, but Rose's steps glided soundlessly toward him, her towering silhouette framed by the moonlit arches. "You are staring again, human," she said. Her voice was velvet, soft, deadly, impossible to ignore. James stiffened. "Apologies, Your Radiance. I didn't mean—" "You did." She stepped closer, tails curling around him with teasing precision. "Humans always mean what they look at. You admire what you should fear." James opened his mouth to protest, but couldn't. Because she wasn't wrong. And because her gaze pinned him in place like gravity made conscious. Rose leaned in, studying him the way a scientist studies a rare organism, fascinated but wary of claws he didn't have. "You have worked here for 36 days, repairing systems even my own engineers could not decipher. Yet you avoid me." "I didn't want to offend you." "You cannot offend me," she said flatly. "You can only amuse me." Her tails tightened around his wrist. "Come." Before he could react, before he could speak, before he could even breathe, she dragged him inside. The private chamber of the Empress was nothing like the formal halls outside. Here the walls pulsed softly with nebula-colored light, shaped by living crystals that responded to her emotions. Their hues shifted as she pulled James into the center of the room. Warm rose gold, curious indigo, faint streaks of silver desire. James felt his pulse trip. "This is the heart spire," Rose said. "No human has ever been allowed here. Even ambassadors kneel at the threshold." "Then why bring me?" Her ears flicked. "Because you stared." James froze. "You're punishing me?" Rose laughed softly, a sound like wind brushing through soft fur. "Human, if I wanted to punish you, you would already be ash on the balcony." He swallowed. She stepped closer. "Tell me, James," she whispered, circling him with slow, calculated grace. "What did you see when you looked at me?" He knew the diplomatic answer, the safe answer, the answer that would keep alliances stable and keep him alive. But Rose wasn't asking as an empress. She was asking as a woman. James exhaled. "I saw someone impossible to ignore." Rose stopped mid-circle. For the first time, the light in the chamber flickered. "No fear?" she asked quietly. "Fear," he admitted, "but also respect, curiosity, and—" He forced himself to meet her eyes. "Something you might not want to hear." Her tails lifted slightly, alert. "Say it." "Admiration." Silence. Deep, dangerous silence. Then her eyes softened, just a fraction, and her tails lowered. "Humans," she murmured, "are endlessly reckless." "And Vulpines," James replied, "are endlessly beautiful." That did it. The chamber brightened in a burst of shimmering gold, and Rose stepped close enough for James to smell the faint metallic spice of her fur. Her hand rose, claws retracting, touch surprisingly gentle as she traced a single line down his jaw. "No one speaks to me like that," she said. Maybe they should, James whispered. Her ears twitched. Her breath warmed his cheek. You do not understand what you provoke. Then explain it. For a moment she looked almost human, caught between pride and vulnerability, power and longing. In my culture, she said slowly, to admire an empress is to challenge her. To desire her, her eyes gleamed, is to become part of her pack. James blinked. I hope that's not dangerous. Oh, it is, she purred, for both of us. A chime echoed through the chamber, harsh, cold, unmistakably urgent. Rose's expression shifted instantly to imperial command. She pressed a hand to the crystal wall, revealing a holographic map. Red markers flared along the outer borders. Intrusion, she hissed. Skarn raiders. James's instincts surged. The power shields offline, she snapped. Your repairs are incomplete because your engineers kept interrupting me. Rose's ears flattened. Then finish them, with me. She grabbed his hand, not dragging him this time, but pulling him beside her. The corridors erupted into action as guards formed protective lines around their empress. Rose ignored them. Her attention was locked solely on James. This way, she commanded, leading him to the central power chamber. James moved fast, tools already in his hands, sparks flying as he bypassed the overloaded conduits. Rose defended the entrance with fluid, terrifying grace, tails sweeping like plasma whips, claws igniting with blue flame. Status, she called. 60% restored. Hold them off. A Skarn warrior lunged. Rose cut him down with a single sweeping arc, her glow intensifying as the chamber responded to her fury. James! Almost! Just need... The coils realigned, power surged, and the shield snapped back online. A shockwave rippled through the palace, and the Skarn attack signal vanished from the map. They won. James exhaled hard, sinking to one knee from exhaustion. Rose turned toward him, breathing heavily, fur ruffled, eyes blazing with something raw and unguarded. You fought beside me, she whispered. You dragged me into this, he said with a tired grin. For the first time, she smiled, truly smiled. I drag only those I choose. She knelt, lifting his chin gently. Her voice dropped to a soft, intimate rumble. And I choose you, James Hale, human engineer, the one who stared without fear. He swallowed. What does that mean? For us. Rose leaned in, her forehead touching his. It means, she breathed, you are no longer a guest. Her tails wrapped around him, warm and protective. You are mine.